Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Test Tube Plus today. I'm Trace. This is episode 5 of 5 on immigration. Make sure you watch all 4 of the episodes we've had so far. We've talked about citizenship and what immigration really means, some of the definitions there. We've talked about whether it's good or whether it's bad for countries that allow it or countries that don't allow it. And today we're going to talk about globalization and what that could mean for immigration. What would a world with total globalization look like from an immigration perspective? Well, in 2013, the United Nations ranked the top 10 most popular countries to immigrate to. That's the US, Russia, and Germany. Those are the top 3 of the top 10. People want industry. They want to work. They want to prove themselves. They want to build something. And the US, Russia, and Germany all have sectors in their economy where that's possible. But that's in 2013. As we move forward, is it still going to be the United States, Russia, and Germany? Are they going to have other countries? Is Japan going to open their doors in the future? They have a very robust industrial sector. Immigrants would love to get their hands on that. I know I would. There's a lot of economic benefit to doing that. Talked about it already. But when it comes to globalization, you can't just open all the doors everywhere and say people move as you will, because not all parts of the world, not all groups of people, not all industries are equal because they're all under different administrations. There are hundreds of countries with their own laws and their own rules and their own cultures. So globalization can get messy when it comes to immigration. There are pros. For example, there's a potential to make the world a better place by letting people move all over the world, letting them go where they will. You could fix unemployment, you can fix poverty, just by opening things up. You can also have free trade, which promotes global economic growth. It creates jobs, it makes companies more competitive, and it lowers prices for consumers, potentially globally in this case. It also provides poor countries the chance to develop economically because they can host workers. Those workers can then build things and export them and help the country grow. And that happens through infusions of foreign capital and technology, by spreading prosperity, and by improving the living conditions for those in those countries. On top of all that, cultural intermingling always happens when immigrants are allowed into a new place. You have shared financial interests, which force corporations and governments to solve problems in economics, in sociology, in ecology. You have technology that gets shared across developing nations, from rich nations to poor nations, from industrialized nations to pre-industrialized nations. And those things help people progress, and it helps all of us better ourselves. But there's also cons. There's a dark side. There's a, yang to this yin, or is it yin to this yang? Globalization makes the rich richer while making the non-rich poorer. The wealth gap will grow because there will be some people that can invest and some people that cannot. Globalization is supposed to be about free trade where barriers are eliminated. But there's still VAT, or value-added taxes, in a lot of different countries. Like, for example, in Europe, VAT taxes, I guess that's like ATM machine, just VAT, is as high as 21.6%. That's in Europe. The United States doesn't have VAT. Developed countries can lose jobs to lower-cost countries. So, for example, if a neighboring country who might have been much poorer before the borders were thrown open has no incentive to not allow their workers to come in and build their own industry, that can take jobs away from a more developed country where it's a little higher cost of living. Things would eventually even out, but it can be pretty volatile at first and over a lot of years. Workers in developed countries like the United States could face pay cut demands from employers who threaten to export jobs to those places where it is cheaper to work. We've seen that happen in the United States. On top of that, without proper regulations, without proper controls, there will be unfair working conditions. There will be a lack of concern for the environment and a lack of concern for the workers themselves. We can end up really doing damage to the people who are just trying to better themselves. We've seen that throughout history too. Those examples exist. That's why we have some of the controls we do here in the United States. Read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. It's shocking. The evidence seems to point to the fact that immigration benefits everyone. There does seem to be a net positive. Not just the economic benefits and the cultural benefits, but it benefits those people who are immigrating often when it's done right. But we can't just throw the gates open and let people go willy-nilly because, that's like pure capitalism. And pure capitalism doesn't work without safeguards to make sure things can work comfortably for everyone. Otherwise, it can be a little too volatile. But, how can you just say, oh, it's too volatile, you can't come in? What right do we have to deny access to wanting to better our lives? Don't we owe it to humanity, to our fellow man, to take care of the sick, the poor, the impoverished? I said this already, but give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. That isn't just, something we say. It's emblazoned on a symbol of our country, here in the United States especially. But other countries feel this way too. We want immigrants in a lot of places. We build our countries based on it. And this is the debate. This is the root of the immigration problem. It's not about, cultural aversion, and it's not even really about stereotypes or even economics or prejudice. It's the debate at its root is, do we owe it to each other to let people try and make it however they will, or do we not? That's the debate. The debate is important. As global needs change, we're going to keep shifting. As cultures and technologies grow, the needs of immigrants and countries are going to shift to support or disenfranchise immigrants to those places. Whether or not to throw open the doors and let everybody in, or lock them down a little bit and only let some people in, that's going to be decided on a country-to-country basis, and each country is going to have their own debate, but we owe it to the people who want to better themselves to have that debate. It's not like people are going to stop moving. People have moved all over the planet for all of human history. It's not going to stop because we decide to debate it on cable news or because of the internet or because of a podcast. People are going to move around. It's what we do. We get better opportunities, we get new technology, we get new needs for skills, and the world might be a better place, especially if we just talk about it. So why don't you tell me what you think down in the comments. After all of this, all 5 of these episodes on immigration here on Test Tube Plus, let me know. I'm Trace. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Saturday with more Test Tube Plus. Please subscribe so you can come back then.